Why is it common for people to feel attached to idols, celebrities, or fictional characters, even though these interactions are very one-sided? The feelings we have for them may be as strong as if we genuinely knew them. These attachments, marked precisely by how one-sided the interactions are called parasocial relationships. A lot of industries capitalize on this. Before we dive into the details, let's look at a few extreme cases from East Asia. These are true cautionary tales of when obsession goes too far. In China 2007, a man jumped into the sea hoping his suicide would guilt Hong Kong actor-singer Andy Lau into meeting his daughter, an obsessed fan. His daughter, Yang Lijuan, was so obsessed with Andy Lau that she had quit school to spend all her time thinking about her idol. Her dream was to tell Andy Lau how much she loved him. To support this dream, Yang Lijuan's parents sold their only house to fund her trips to Hong Kong. Her dad also attempted to sell a kidney to a local hospital, but was refused as it was illegal. Yang Lijuan managed to meet Andy Lau at a fan club event celebrating his birthday, but didn't get a chance to have a conversation with him. This was devastating to her, and her father tragically chose to end his life, leaving a 12-page letter pleading with Andy Lau to meet his daughter and give her just 5 minutes of his time. Andy Lau's agency denied the request, with the actor stating he hoped she could move on with her life. It's reported that Andy Lau had to seek help from a psychiatrist, not just from this incident, but also from other fans who would send fan letters threatening self-harm if they could not meet him. In Korea, obsessive fans are known as sasaeng fans. Infamous incidents include female sasaengs shaving their heads and cross-dressing to infiltrate male bathrooms used by idols, renting the same van, and parking in the same place to pick up or kidnap idols, and setting cameras in hotels where their idols stayed. Extreme cases also happened in Japan, like the one a few years ago, where an obsessive fan zoomed into the pupils of an idol to find out where she lived. In these extreme cases, fans go too far by stalking or harassing their idols to obtain interaction at the cost of causing harm to others. The vast majority of parasocial fans, though, understand that their comments of support or the feelings they have may never be directly acknowledged and are okay with that. That's what we'll be focusing on. To understand more about this phenomenon, let's delve into its general aspects. The idea of parasocial or one-sided relationships isn't new. It was first coined by Horton and Wohl in 1956. Initially, it was just the idea of parasocial interactions, which lasted for however long the viewing experience was. This concept was then expanded to include long-term relationships formed between viewers and media figures, known as parasocial relationships. These relationships feel psychologically real and meaningful, even though people consciously know they are not real relationships. So if these relationships are all one-sided, how do people get attached, and what do they get out of it? There are some theories we can look into to explain why parasocial relationships can be fulfilling, like the uses and gratifications theory. This theory states that people don't just passively consume media, but seek it out to satisfy psychological needs. For example, wanting to be entertained, wanting to learn something, wanting a sense of social interaction, or wanting to procrastinate and ignore something that needs to be done. Media can fulfill a sense of social interaction, which is important if someone feels lonely and doesn't have a way to satisfy that need. Consuming media is a low barrier and easy way to fill that need. Our evolutionary instincts also play a role. We have a tendency to like those we encounter frequently and become attached to people we often see. This helped us bond with our tribe mates and recognize who was and wasn't a threat. Nowadays, we can see and recognize many people's faces despite never meeting or interacting with them in real life. So someone watching a TV show may consciously know these people aren't real, but our evolutionary instincts don't make that distinction, and our feelings of attachment and closeness still form just as they would for a real person. With the rise of social media, the occurrence of parasocial relationships becomes even more evident. Back in the day, we only saw celebrities in movies, press conferences, and interviews. Now, with platforms like Instagram, you can easily follow somebody and see what they're up to in their daily lives without breaking any laws. These constant updates from celebrities and idols make their presence a lot more sticky to fans. So parasocial relationships are much more likely to be formed via social media rather than traditional media. Since parasocial relationships often occur between fans and characters or celebrities, East Asia is a fascinating place to examine because many of their big cultural exports, like the idol and anime industries, are fueled by fandom. We'll see that as much as parasocial fans exert pressure on idols, like reacting badly if they date or threatening boycotts, parasocial relationships are also used to escape pressure. This reflects interesting social cultural norms. In China, paragon fans engage in fantasized kinships with their idols, often calling themselves sister fans, brother fans, mother fans, and father fans. These terms aren't seen in the West because we skip that step entirely, but in China, it reflects the societal and cultural importance of family. This kinship provides a sense of fulfillment for a generation that grew up without siblings due to the one-child policy. It also comforts aging parents who might feel lonely after their only child grows up and leaves the house. Paragon fans feel a sense of entitlement over their idols and are more liberal in voicing their opinions on how idols should act. They believe it's their responsibility to tell idols when they think they're stepping out of line. In Korea, the term fandom describes a system where fans manage their idols by taking actions to enhance their image. Fans participate in social and cultural events, promote artists on social media, translate materials, and generate discussions to make their idols flourish. Fandom practices also include policing content on social media to protect the idol's image. This concept touches upon participatory culture, where individuals are not just consumers, but also participate in creating and distributing media narratives. In Japan, parasocial relationships can develop with fictional characters, especially in the gaming and anime industries. Anime fans often form bonds with characters based on shared values, like determination and kindness. These parasocial bonds can feel very real and meaningful. In gaming, particularly with gacha games, players form parasocial attachments to characters they pull for, often spending significant amounts of money to obtain their favorite characters. Parasocial relationships at their core are about fulfilling our psychological needs and are typically not harmful. However, there needs to be a balance to prevent these relationships from veering towards unhealthy obsession. What are your thoughts on forming parasocial relationships? Do you think you've ever experienced it? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into the world of fandom.